Taxi. The Mayor of Morani, Glen Kelly, whose electorate takes in the Pioneer Valley, joins me this morning on ABC Tropical North. Glen, good morning.
Rob, how you going, mate?
I'm good, thank you. Why hasn't the state government called in this project previously?
Well, look, this project come to my attention back in April this year, and obviously there was big concerns in and around that community because obviously we'd had another project with Edified come into the community, and when it comes to these BESS projects, it's like these developers, when it comes to renewables with wind and solar, they just did whatever they liked, and with the previous code that they were under, they could do whatever they liked. And where it stands with BESS at the moment, they have a pretty fair rein on what they can do because, look, when it comes to the planning code, when it comes to Mackay Regional Council and or any council in Queensland, these guidelines weren't put in for BESS projects. And so moving forward, I think I'd have to say, listening to what happened yesterday in council chambers there was quite interesting what got said, but I'm really pleased to see with the outcome that the people of Plaistow have, because that's a fantastic outcome.
It is, but so I'll just reiterate that. Have you asked the Deputy Premier to call in this project specifically?
So, Rob, I have spoken to the Deputy Premier about this project.
Have you asked him to call in this project specifically, with all due respect?
I have asked him to look at this project, as I have great concerns of it, and I with listening to what got said yesterday, I've done nothing about this project. Well, I've spoken to the DP about it many a time. I've spoken to other colleagues about this project, and listening to what got said yesterday, I think there's people out there that think I just do nothing, and which is quite disappointing because for those who don't know it, I speak to the DP a lot, as his office is directly across the hallway from mine in Parliament. So when it comes to likes of BESS, solar, wind, we're across the table with it, and we're working on legislation with this when it comes to BESS. And they talk about BESS. A lot of people don't even know what BESS is, but, you know, it's battery energy storage system, and it's there. Its job is to store energy and then release it when it is needed. And when it comes to the renewable charge, with what they want to do moving forward, batteries are pretty important.
Yes, they are. Yes, they're very. With due respect, will you go and see the DP to call in this project specifically if he's only across the corridor? Yeah,
I will go and see the DP about this, and but like I alliterated there before, I have spoken to him about it. And the thing is with this, you know, we don't want the DP. I don't want to see him. He starts setting a precedent to take away planning decisions from council without being asked. And I conveyed this to council last week. I think it was last week in an email there. We were in Brisbane there, but we'd worked on something there to get out to councillors about the Mackay Regional Council, and councils about this, and to make them aware that what they can do to support the communities, because I think it's also forgotten that my job is to support the constituents of Morani, and I do that. And I did hear, I think there yesterday, I'm hiding behind the people of Plaistow, which I find, you know, that's disappointing, because if they watch what I do, I fight for the constituents of Morani. And the other thing is, if they watch what I do with renewables and how I do it, people come to me with the issues because they know I'm prepared. I'm prepared to get my head chopped off for the electorate of Morani. And there's a lot of bitter people out there with me, but it's only because I'm prepared to stand up for the weak.
Okay, we're talking to a member for Morani, Glen Kelly, on ABC Tropical North this morning. The Mayor says he was frustrated the application had made it to council to the table. Is this the state government actually trying to handball the hard decisions to local government?
So I think I may have said there, but when it comes to BESS in their planning, Best was never there. Like it's a new era. It's a new frontier. And the way I understand it, Mackay Regional Council will be assessing their planning scheme. Is it next year? I'm not sure, but I mean, it's best to be in it, I guess. The temporary local planning instrument is so important when it comes to these best projects because I've noticed there and worked with Rockhampton Regional Council with success. I think with what was going to happen down there in the electorate of Morenni, having 5 best projects, and we're talking, we're not talking just 10 acres of battery. We're talking up to 200 to 250 acres of battery down there, and changing the planning code when it comes to BESS, where these developers can build and where they can't build, is very important because down in that area, you would be shocked to see what was going to happen there. And one project has got over the line, but there's 3 or 4 that will be certainly pulled up through the changing of the temporary local planning instrument with their council, because that will stop developers building up only 120 metres from someone's kitchen. And I, for one, wouldn't like that to be happening at my home, especially when you have Gracemere, 13,000 people live in Gracemere, you have 368 mailboxes at Boldcombe, and you have a large-scale industrial plant dumped beside you, and you had no say.
Member for Morenni, Glen Kelly on ABC Tropical North. Was it an oversight to not include battery projects in those community impact accessible laws the LNP passed earlier this year, like wind and solar?
That's a great question, mate. And the answer is, so when we kicked off on this in December last year, we did the call-in on a project down home there west of Rockhampton, the Moonlight Project. It was called in. Those developers tried to sneak around our government. They got called out. First, number 1 was working out new legislation for wind, which was made them impact accessible instead of code accessible, because that's a big word, code accessible. That allows the developers to do whatever they want. Whereas now it comes under council, communities, they're first. Developers come about fourth.
Glen, you've just...
Then it was solar.
Okay.
Then it was solar, same legislation. BESS is a little bit different. It is a little bit different. We are working on that legislation, and I think I may have said there just lately we did a presser there at Stanwell Power Station. That is the right place when it comes to battery storage, because they're large industrial corridors and no one lives there.
Glen.
So with that, I'm saying I just want to make it right that it is on the table, and I'm working with our government to make sure that when it's done right, and therefore the communities are a lot safer.
Glen, you've just completed a survey of your electorate asking people where they believe blind spots need to be fixed, and Hay Point Road was the key one that actually came up again and again and again. Should we expect some money in next year's state budget to better manage these blind spots, because it ain't going away?
It's not going away, but how about that, eh? That survey's going very well, and we're hoping if we're planning on it going a lot further than that. But so it's been recognised, and the state government, obviously, but then puts pressure on the state, or puts pressure on the federal government to act. And that's what I like about that. It's and I'm working on other roads as well to be recognised. And but obviously Hay Point's an important road because of the amount of traffic that goes down it to the port, for one thing, but it's the amount of people that live in there. And so I think that survey is going very, very well. And to anyone out there that's not sure about the survey, please ring our office, and we are there to help, because obviously, once again, the electorate of Morenni comes first, and I come about third. And we're working for them, and whatever we can do for them is so important to us.
A member for Morenni, Glen Kelly on ABC Tropical North. What's your relationship like with our Premier?
David Crisafulli, to me, he's doing an incredible job. Look, as a gentleman, he's same background as basically myself, agriculture. And I mean, I really, obviously, with what he's doing and what he's doing with the state is amazing. Is an amazing job in the last 12 months, because we certainly weren't going forward, and we were looking for someone to lead, and he's certainly shown that true grit leadership. He will go down in the trenches and fight for people, and that's what regional Queensland likes. That's what regional Queensland's all about, because we were a bit quiet there for a lot of years when it came to the previous government dictating to what we can and can't do, and then certainly the change of government. Queensland had a gutful, and here we are with a leader that's only going forward. And one thing about Christopher Pulley that I do like, he does not look back. He just looks forward. He goes hunting. He looks for it. He goes looking to what he can make things better. And that, to me, is, I give full respect to him. And I can tell you now, my colleagues, we're very, very happy with him, and I'm damn sure a lot of the people of Queensland are too, especially regional Queensland.
I know Dean Kirkwood from the Mackay Resources Industry Network has been having some great conversations with our leaders down south. We'll be hearing from him after 8:30. While we still have you before the 8 o'clock news, of course, member for Moranee, Glen Kelly, what do you have to say to the Plaistow residents right now?
Look, yesterday was a great outcome for those people, because I know it can be very emotional. One thing that I've learned in the 4 or 5 years of dealing with renewables, let alone BESS, in the last 18 months is, and it's something that no one talks about, especially developers, is the mental abuse it does on people. So, I mean, council there yesterday stood up for that community, and I really respect council for that. And there's councillors in there that I really, really respect. They fight for their communities, and yesterday that was very well noticed. And I will be there. I think the Mayor might have said there this morning, he hopes I work with them. I will be working with Mackay Regional Council, because that's my job. And so, fluffing the feathers is fine, but that's one thing I do, is I only think about today. I forget about tomorrow, and what got said yesterday, I couldn't care less, because I've got to work on what's happening today.
Glen Kelly, we appreciate your time this morning on ABC Tropical North.
Thanks, mate.
There is member for Moranee, Glen Kelly, on ABC Tropical North.